Trying to find great candidates to hire is like trying to find a needle in the haystack. There's so many applications and not enough qualified candidates with the right skills and experience. But not with ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter finds amazing candidates for you fast. And right now, you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter's smart technology identifies top talent for you and your roles quickly. Immediately after you post your job on ZipRecruiter, their powerful matching technology starts showing you people that are qualified to work for your organization. You can use ZipRecruiter's invite to apply message to personally reach out to your favorite candidates and encourage them to apply sooner rather than later. Ditch the other hiring sites and let ZipRecruiter find what you're looking for, the needle in the haystack. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/work. Again, that's ziprecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another elite episode of the Get Authentic with Marques show. I'm your host, Marques Ogden. On today's episode, we are joined by LaFon Gooch. But before we bring up Tara to the stage, I want to thank one of our amazing sponsors, Mr. Evan Frazier of TechWise Financial. Evan is a Christian-based financial planner, and he loves to connect with people through the word and help them to achieve their fiscal and their family goals. We thank Evan for sponsoring this episode. Now, here she is. Tara, how you doing today, Tara?
Hey, I'm doing great, Marques. Thanks for having me.
Always, always. We do a lot of things together. I tell everybody all the time, you have been so big in us getting organized and structured and automation and moving things to our CRM and all these great things. And we're going to talk about that. But of course, first question, what does the word authentic/authenticity mean to you?
One word, it means true or truth, right? It's something
Okay.
that you can't fake, you can't buy, you can't borrow. It's just truth. So authenticity means to me just showing up as your true self.
Ladies and gentlemen, true. I heard something my first cousin, Matthew, sent me a pretty cool thing he put up on TikTok today. And it was the background voice of Snoop Dogg talking about, hey, stop trying to be a copy, be the original. We have enough copies out there trying to copy others. We don't have enough people being original and being themselves. So I love that because I tell everybody you can only be yourself. You can't be anybody else. You can't do what others want you to do if it's not who you are, and it's not going to get you very far. So, Tara, please tell everybody a little bit about yourself and the work you do with your awesome organization.
So my name's LaFon Gooch. I'm the CEO of Best Branding Solutions. We help thought leaders, authors, and speakers grow a global brands and online presence. And we do this through TEDx talks, podcasting, and PR. What I love about it is that these are my people, right? And I feel a lot of connection to them because I'm an author, I'm a TEDx speaker and podcaster as well. So to me, there's nothing more fun than talking about this all day long. Because at the end of the day, what is thought leadership really? It's influence on a mission, on purpose. And for me, there's no greater satisfaction than working with other purpose-driven individuals who are here to make the world a better place in their own way.
You know, what's very interesting, you talk about you work with people that you have some sort of, relatability to. And I tell people constantly, if you're going to try to build something of a business, background or a business in general, what's very important, I feel, is to have clients that you either really like and or well, it should be probably hopefully be both, really get along with, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're going to work with somebody and you really don't like to talk to them or communicate with them, or, they're always bugging you, and we've had a conversation about that ourselves. And, it makes it very difficult, very arduous to work in that environment. So, can you please talk to our audience about how important it is as they're either starting a business or trying to grow a business, how they have to really approach that and say, hey, look, I need to try to find people that I actually like and can also communicate with and work with.
Yeah, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, when they're starting out, they try to serve niches that are going to make a lot of money, and they think of that as the total end goal, end result, end game. And while you should go after, profitable niches, nobody's arguing that. I think it's as important to go after people and niches or businesses that you understand. At the end of the day, it's going to take you showing up as an expert, you showing up as competent, knowing what you're talking about in order to convey trust to the other person or business. And the best way you can do that is by walking the walk and talking the talk yourself. Would never help somebody start a podcast or land a TEDx talk if I didn't have some type of background or expertise on that, or writing a book or whatever it is, right? Because you know the ins and outs of it. And when you can, again, really show up as that leader, that credible expert, it builds your confidence so that you can talk to that audience much more clearly as well. And it really shows that you can ultimately deliver the results that you are talking to them about, right? I think that's important. And I look at your brand, the way you help speakers, the way you help organizations grow. It's because you have the lived experience, because you walk the walk and talk the talk. You're actively doing it right now. And that conveys, number one, trust, but also it conveys, again, that competence that you will deliver on that promise that you say you will.
Tara, I tell people trust is built through three main factors: competency, reliability, having people's best interest. And I'm very big, if someone's going to hire us, if I feel that we can't deliver what needs to be done, then I don't want your money. I
Yep.
don't want you to hire me. And if I think, oh, I'm not sure, no, I'm going to be 100% sure that I can help you. And so let's get into that, right, everybody? So Tara's company is called, correct me if I'm wrong, Best Branding Solutions, correct?
Right. Yep.
Okay, awesome. So can you give our audience kind of like a high level overview? Then what we're going to do is we're going to actually walk through from the strategic and from the tactical aspect of what you did for me. And I'll kind of give everybody the snapshot of our brand, what we were doing. And I'll have you say, hey, you can kind of come in and tell everybody how you helped us. But give our audience first a strategic high level view of what Best Branding Solutions does for their clients from a 30,000-foot view.
Yeah, so a lot of our clients, and you're one of the best examples because you already had an established brand. So you are such a great example because your brand was already well established. You already had that credibility, you already had that reputation. And then what we do is amplify it. That's what we do. We can't create subject matter experts. I can't teach somebody how to be a subject matter expert, but what we can do is put the microphone on that expertise, right? So, with your podcast, for example, you had a already really established podcast. It's fantastic, clear user experience is great. You've got a lot of engagement. People love the show. It's a global show. Holy cow, it's a global show. Top 0.05%. So then it was just about how can we grow and amplify that message even more, right? Get more eyeballs on it, more listeners on it. And then once we had, that bolster of just amplification of that already established brand, then it was time to put a system in place to help gain not just repeatable listeners, but repeatable business. I think a lot of podcasters that we work with at first, they think of it as strictly a brand building tool. And while it is an influence tool, it's also a tool for your business. And I just like to think of this as a vehicle or a plug that helps connect a visibility spot, we'll call it, to an opportunity for monetization or sponsorships or just different things that you can leverage with your podcast. So to do this, we, first amplified it, but then we also found people in your niche that you could serve on the B2B level and started a cold email campaign that would get them as podcast guests. And what I love about this is one, you're talking to that person directly, but two, there's no walls up. It's an interview, it's a warm welcome. And it gets people introduced to who you are, what you do in a non-salesy way, more an authentic way, which is both of our brands alike, right? And then that creates a different level of interest. Then it takes that person from maybe they've never even heard of you to now they know, like, and trust you. And then after the interview, it's how can we continue this and work together? That's what it was all about for us, is just building that machine, that plug, that vehicle.
Ladies and gentlemen, I took note of something. Well, a few things actually, and that's awesome. Second, number one, as Tara said, she cannot make you a expert. And I love that she said that because there's so many companies out there that will tell you something just to get your money, right? People say, I can make you this global sensation. I can make you the next influencer on Instagram. I can make you the next person on TikTok, dot, 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 dot. And if you can do that, great, but you better be able to deliver it in that regard. You better be able to do that. And what I love is Tara said, if you're looking for that, she's not your person. That's number one. Number two, I love how she said she took something that we already had, a podcast that was already doing well, and amplified it and got it to have a bigger reach, got to have a bigger footprint, got to get more eyeballs, more eardrums, which does what? Allows you to be more credible. When you're more credible, what does that mean? You have a better chance of making money at the price point you want to charge. Look at people like Gary Vee or Ed Miley or Mel Robbins. They've got podcasts, they've got brands. Another thing she said, now after we go into the next question, she talked about creating a system of outreach based on what we had and putting it into a CRM and creating a nurture sequence where we could have cold people that don't know us try to work towards them wanting to engage us because the podcast is that value add that draws them in. And I love this. So, Tara, great segment. So, here's my next question. You helped us do this beautifully, right? You helped us create lists. We have a construction list right now we're running. You're going to help Abby and our team create a finance list, an insurance list, a B2B list, a speaker bureau list. And what I've been working on is getting testimonials from people in those different verticals. So we've got 2 in finance and we've got 1 in insurance, waiting on from real estate, waiting on some from, other, hospitality and management. Like we're just waiting on more to come in over time. But again, we have 3 already, and we're already using those on our website, all these things. But what you have done for us, Tara, and I tell this to my clients a lot now because of you, you've helped us to create a strong customer profile of who we want to go after. Can you please talk to our audience about how important it is when you're starting in business or just in business in general to have a great idea of who your strong customer profile is and why?
Oh, I love that. You know, the best person you can serve is the person you once were, right? And I've heard that a lot. I'm sure your audience has. It's who have you been? What lessons did you learn? And how do you know that you can help them like nobody else helps them? And what I love about your story is that you have experience in the construction industry as an executive, building a company, building a very successful company, very successful. You have a secret sauce, right? That nobody else has that's going to approach them. I'm confident of that. So I think it starts with, learning your story, learning your background, really not giving you surface level advice on my part, really understanding again who that is that you have been before, so we know who you can serve at the highest level. And we know that it's going to be people at the highest level because we're not going after just anybody. We're talking and bridging conversations with presidents, with the CEOs of companies with a certain size. So, not startups, right? And I think that's important because you have a higher ticket offer, as you should, right? Because your brand commands that attention and positioning. And then when you approach them, it's a natural transition. These are the people and companies and organizations that can afford your level of service. I think that's really important is to, again, who can understand who you can serve at the highest level as a business owner, and then how you know you can help them better than anybody else. And then making sure you're going after the right companies, the right sizes, the right industries so that they don't look at your price point and see that as too much, quote unquote, right? They look at that and see this is actually an investment for them, and they already have the budget allowance anyway. So there's less red tape, there's less um, talking, there's less negotiating. And again, you come in with that position of authority, it's going to be a natural yes. And the key is to get as many of those natural yeses as possible.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I really love what Tara said. I took note of it about brand positioning. So, for example, one of our clients is a company, they're agriculture. They're based out of Paris, France. They're all around the world. We spoke for them at one of their sales meetings in June. My longtime friend and my first ever coaching client is the director of the Southeast region for them. And we have been negotiating back and forth. Well, we created a proposal going back and forth, and we turned it in last week. And him and the CEO actually met me because he heard me speak in Nashville in June. And so now we're looking at trying to get a very nice high ticket offer, 12K per month, coming in, doing consulting with their team, plus full support from our team. And again, as Tara said, we positioned ourselves within their organization by using the speaking as a way to come into the door. They were able to see us at a still a nice ticket offer. You know, it's not one of our, it's not our highest, but it's a really nice offer. And we would come in and blow it out of the water. They loved it. And now we're negotiating and chatting about doing one of our larger ticket offers, and they're very excited about the potential partnership. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I tell people it's not going to happen overnight, right? We spoke for them in June, and now here we are, it's September, and we are going back and forth. And I'm very confident we're going to get a contract of some sort. I don't know how much, no, but our guy who is bringing us to the table wants us to come in at the highest offer because he understands, as Tara said, the value they're going to get at the 12K will be so vital for the organization's success for the long term. So again, Tara, I love this. So again, can you, as an individual who has a lot of expertise around branding and marketing, can you please tell our audience what branding means to you and then what marketing means to you?
Oh, I love this. Okay, so Jeff Bezos once said, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. I have a spin on it, and I say your brand walks in the room before you do. What does that
Mhm.
mean? Well, your brand walks in the room before you do because it's 2025 and people Google you and look you up online. So your brand is someone's first impression of who you are as an individual or your company. So what does branding mean to me? It means that people are going to look you up. The question is, what will they find? It's either going to be favorable or not. And this day of age, we cannot afford unfavorable online press or media or presence. So it's really important to cultivate a brand that, again, builds authority through trust, through authenticity. So your personal brand is going to be someone's very first impression of who you are. And we only get a couple of seconds, Marcus. A couple of seconds. It's like 5 seconds when somebody looks us up online to determine if we're a trustworthy character or not. So, branding is that first impression, and it's so critical that it happens in a positive way in those first few moments with that other person.
Now, love that. Can you talk about what does marketing mean to you in that regard?
So, I read a book. It's called The 10X Rule. I'm sure a lot of your listeners have heard of it by Grant Cardone. I read it a couple years ago when it came out, and I'll tell you, I don't remember a lot of the book. It's been a couple years, but I remember this one line. And in that line, he said, it's not about being the best. It's not about being the best doctor, best student, best business owner, best athlete. It's about being the best known. Because if you could be the best, but if no one knows you exist and they can't find you, they won't do business with you. So it's about being the best known. I think just we're so focused. And I'm not saying don't be the best every single day. Show up as the best, own it, and learn and constantly refine your craft. Yes. But also, equally to that, focused on being the best known. Keep putting yourself out there, keep showing up, even when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to. Marketing means showing up as a leader, right? And doing it with consistency. I think that's so important.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I always say if people can't find you, they can't hire you. So we were able to close a new partnership today with an individual. One of our team members out of Africa, Daniel, has been working trying to pick us up partners for our podcast. This gentleman, James, who was actually on our podcast as a guest, Daniel reached out to him with an offer. He loved it. And he said, yes, I'm in, signed his contract, told us he was out of the country until September 9th. He was going to pay his invoice when he got back in. And today is September 9th. Boom, invoices paid. And now we have our onboarding call next week. And we're going to help him. And what the great thing is, and Tara will love this, it is a scalable process because we have it set up through our CRM, which Daniel's going to set up another CRM specifically for this venture, these partnerships, to run things, test things, get data, and it can scale to a high level because once we have it done once and we can show that it works and show the proof of concept, we build trust and it goes from there. But again, Tara is a big reason for our brand, Ogden Ventures, scaling. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a lot of work and we're not done. But once you get the work done and it's set up, then you got something special. But it takes time to get it set up. So never forget that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, If you have all the pieces, if you are an expert, if you have the brand and you're just not getting the results, then Tara's going to tell you right now where to find her, how to contact her to get more information.
Visit our website, bestbranding.solutions, or connect with me on LinkedIn. Tara LaFon Gooch on LinkedIn. I'm pretty much everywhere, but I'm on LinkedIn the most. So love to hear from you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know that I do not endorse a lot of people. I don't. I don't believe in it. I don't do it because if I haven't really worked with you, then I'm not going to endorse you. If you're someone that's trying to scale, trying to elevate, and you've got all the pieces, but you don't have the system set up, I'm going to endorse, I'm going to vouch Tara, give her a call. Do I use her? Yes. She helps with our podcast marketing and amplification since June. We hired her to help build the structure. We paid her for that. It's starting to really roll at a high level, and she's helping our team get to that next level. So again, if you're an individual who has all the pieces, but you're struggling to scale, reach out to Tara. We want to thank Evan Frazier of TechWise Financial for sponsoring this episode. And the authentic tip of this great interview: in life, always remember the cardinal rule. Please, if people cannot find you, they cannot work with you. Marketing yourself to your strong customer profile is the best way you can grow your business and elevate it to the next level. But again, get everything in place and you can scale from there. Again, my name is Marques Ogden. I am the host of the Get Authentic with Marques show. Thanks for tuning in. Have a fantastic day.